understand something. It was already there. You just haven't walked into it yet.
Wow.
See, you got to understand how your God does things.
Yeah.
God already has the situation prepared. He's just preparing you to walk into the situation. So there are times we got to learn how to say thank you. Even before, because see, sometimes, you know, when the enemy beating up on you, what it is, the enemy can put you in tears, and you can be so caught up in your emotions. Watch this, and I'm going to use some modern day vernacular. Feeling some kind of way. All up in your feelings. Acting like God has not done anything for you yesterday. But yet you breathe in his air today.
All right.
See, sometimes we got to learn how to just say thank you before we even get it. Because here's the thing about it. When you're in position, and you're now guiding that push. Meaning you're being pushed, but you're guiding where that push will go. You're guiding, watch this, where this thing will go. It's not just pushing you into a corner where you can do nothing. What you're doing is you're guiding this thing, that even if you were pushed in a corner already, said, Pastor, my back already against the wall, then use that amen as your praise position. From that position, like Paul and Silas, when they were locked up, they were in the jail and praised amen. They were already incarcerated and praised. They were already locked down because of a matter, but they praised amen. God released them because of their praise.
Amen.
So she said, my king, I'm not going to use you like an ATM.
Amen.
Modern day, everybody want to use God like an ATM. God, I want a new house, I want a new car, I want a new boat. And I ain't going unless the prophet says that I'm going to get a new house, a new car, and a boat. And I'm not going to go if my pastor's not talking about the prosperity message. So let me share something with you. All the prosperity in the world does not feel good if you're living in sickness.
That's right. Amen.
All the prosperity in this world does not feel good if you still live in depression. All the things of this world is not a good thing if you're lying on your sickbed. So the first thing I need, amen, watch this, I need good health, a sound mind, watch this, and I need to be in the presence of my Lord. Because if I don't have a house, if I don't have a car, if I don't have a boat, I got Jesus, amen. Jesus said, amen, watch this. Birds have nests and foxes have holes, but the Son of Man does not have a place to lay his head, yet he was never wanting for a house. But everywhere he went, because he's Lord, he had a roof over his head.
Amen.
She didn't treat him like the ATM. She's not coming, God, well, I want this, and God, I want that, God, I want this, I want that. What she did was say, listen, I just want to give you some praise. You see, in praise, I'm covered in it.
Yeah. Amen.
In praise, there's a covenant in my praise. And here's the thing about covenant. Y'all know I spoke about covenant before. I love the salt covenant because it gives us a visual on how the salt covenant works. That the salt covenant, and God did a salt covenant with David. And the way the salt covenant works is this, that if I had a cup of salt and you had a cup of salt, brother, and we were going to come into an agreement on a business deal, that I would take my salt and pour it in the middle cup. You would take your salt, pour it in the middle cup. We shake that cup up, and then take the salt, pour some back in yours, pour some back in mine. The only way that agreement is broken is you can figure out your salt from my salt. That's a soul covenant. I'm going to share something with you about salt. Societies have died off for a lack of salt. Check your history. Salt has the power to preserve. Salt has the power to cleanse and heal. So in covenant, there's a power for cleansing in covenant. There's a power for healing in covenant. There's a power for preservation in covenant. There's a power, watch this, for life in covenant. That when she watched this, she said, listen, by me standing here in this royal garment, I realize that I'm in a covenant covering, but I'm also in a covenant as well. That in this covenant, amen, I'm with the king. And because I'm with the king, everything the king owns, amen, watch this, he just gave me half of it. God will give you your petition if we learn how to praise. Let me get down to it. Esther chapter 5 and verse 9 says this. Then went Haman forth that day joyful and with glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai at the gate, that he stood not up, nor moved for him. He was full of indignation against Mordecai. Now this is interesting. You just got blessed to be in the presence of the king and his wife, and you mad with Mordecai. That just showed you the enemy. And it showed you how the flesh is. That sometimes you can please people all you want.
Yeah.
But they'll never be completely pleased
That's right.
with everything you are.
That's right. Wow. That's right.
Because Mordecai was the plot of Esther. That was her uncle. Say that again. Sometimes you can please people, but that doesn't mean that they're going to always be pleased with everything you are. But this is why you get into your praise.
Yeah.
Because see, this was a twofold kind of position here. Mordecai decided, I'm going to stand my ground. Because you got to understand something. Mordecai was the one who now unctioned Esther and said, listen, if you don't do what God say do, you'll find somebody else.
That's right.
For such a time as this. Pastor, what do you say? For such a time as this. Some of y'all have been going through some things lately. For such a time as this, you need to get into your praise.
Amen.
Let me go back to this word. So now verse 10 it says that nevertheless Haman refrained himself, and when he came home, he sent and called his friends, Zeresh, his wife, and his wife. And Haman told them of the glory and of the riches and the multitude of the children, and all the things wherein the king had promoted him, and how he had advanced him above the princes and the servants of the king. Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared but myself. And tomorrow I am invited unto her also with the king. Y'all know Esther was wise.
Yeah.
She invited her problem into her praise. And here's the thing about it. It's not like the devil had a choice. Because what she did was she told the king, said, listen, I want you and Haman to come. What did the king do? He said, go get Haman and tell him I said, come here now. You got to understand something. When you give God praise, God is looking at every one of your problems and said, wait a minute, tell that problem I said, come here. Tell that problem I said, come right here. Tell that problem I said, get right here at the altar. Tell that problem I said, get out of your life. Tell that problem I said, go back to hell from where it belongs. Tell that problem, amen, that it will no longer be in your life. Tell that problem I said, amen, it goes where I command it to be right now. So now she gave, amen, her request to the king. The king gave a command, and now the problem has to enter the praise. You got to understand something. And when the enemy's riding you, he's enjoying the ride so much that he don't even realize where you're going.
That's right.
You can take it. My Lord. Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did let no man come in the king unto the banquet that she prepared but myself. And tomorrow I am invited unto her also with the king. Yet all this availed me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate. So he was not happy with going to a banquet because Mordecai wouldn't bow to him. Let me share with you the wisdom. Mordecai could not enter in because Mordecai would not give to the enemy. But Mordecai had an inside track. Mordecai sent his word to Esther. Esther said, I just can't go in any kind of way. Let me put on my royal clothes so I can go in.
That's right.
So the words are now guiding this push. She now gets favor from the king, and the king asks her, what do you want? So now the words guided her to the king's ear. The king is now listening and saying, you can have whatever you want on behalf of your kingdom, on behalf of the kingdom. She said, if I found favor in your sight, please come to this banquet. And Haman. So now, she invited her problem into her praise. And inviting her problem into her praise, she knows that her problem don't have a chance.
Amen.
Because he can't send, the problem can't send word through somebody and manipulate and lie and cheat and steal like he always does and say, well, I didn't say that. You took the ring. Well, I didn't say that. I know you did. So you got to understand something. A lie cannot stand before God.
That's right.
In fact, the word says a liar has a place in hell.
That's right. That's the truth.
So she brought her problem into her praise. Saints, let me share something with you the other day. Learn how to bring your problem into a position of praise. Don't just stand there crying about what you're going through. I understand it may hurt your feelings. I understand that sometimes our problems may even make us feel shame. I understand our problems, amen, watch this, can even displace us. Because see, you got to understand, Esther was a child of Israel. And there were problems that precipitated, or that was before that. And the problems led her to this place. But God guided her the whole way, that when she got here, God positioned her. Because in her was a praise that would deal with that problem. For such a time as this, somebody need to give God praise for all that he's already done. Pastor, I'm dealing with a situation right now, amen, right? I got more money than month. Give God praise. Pastor, I'm in a situation right now where I got bills due. Give God some praise. Pastor, I got a situation, amen, that on the job, give God praise. Because when we give him praise, God works it out. When we give him praise, watch this, you can't be sad no more. When we give him praise, you can't be ashamed no more. When we give him praise, watch this, you put all